Okay, this meeting of the Hornell Industrial Development Agency is called to order. Dave Parmalee is not here, so I will be running the meeting in his absence, but we still have a quorum. With that, we have the secretary's report. Is there a motion to approve the secretary's report?
So moved.
Motion by Rick, second by Ed. Are there any questions on the secretary's report? If there's no questions, all in favor?
Aye.
All ayes, thank you. We also have the treasurer's report before you. Ed, is there anything you'd like to highlight under the treasurer's report?
Nothing at this time, Mayor.
Okay, you have the treasurer's report in your emails and in front of you to review. Are there any questions on that? We have a motion to approve. Motion by John, second by Rick. All in favor?
Aye.
All ayes, thank you. Committee reports, is there audit committee?
Yes,
John?
sir. Out of the ID account, out of the operating account, we paid out $158,866.19. And out of the escrow account, $1,150 even.
Thank you. Anything from personnel? Anything from personnel committee?
That'd be
Nothing to
Dave
report, yeah.
Parmalee.
Governance?
Yep. So the governance committee met and just reviewed the numbers in regards to the RC car wash program that's going on up on 36 in regards to sales tax exemptions and mortgage tax exemptions that we're recommending. The resolution, Mike, I believe you have that, but we'll be putting the resolution forward or making a recommendation that the board moves the resolution forward. Looks good.
Thank you. And that concludes the committee reports. Is there a motion to approve the committee reports?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Ed, second by John. Any questions on any of the reports? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
All ayes. Thank you. That takes us to the executive director's report.
The resolution for RCs here. The rest of my report is on own land and we will do it in executive session. So the motion for the car wash is in front of you. The two items that Ricky recommended for approval by the governance committee.
Okay. And you wanted to go into executive session to discuss?
Unless the rest of the board has questions, it was reviewed by the governance
Okay,
committee and they looked at all of the.
Is there any legal questions or any negotiating?
No, so the main stipulation, or go ahead.
I was just thinking if maybe we should do the executive session and come back out in case there are questions.
That's perfect.
That works.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, since this is still up in the air on the negotiating side, motion to.
I'll make a motion.
Executive session. Motion by Ed, second by John. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All ayes. We are now in executive session. We are now back in regular session. Go right into the resolution? Yeah. Okay, that brings us to the resolution portion of the meeting, which we have two. The first resolution is to approve an amendment to increase sales tax exemption for RC Car Wash LLC to $204,678.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by John,
Second.
second by Rick. Are there any questions on the motion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
All ayes. Thank you. Second motion is to approve mortgage tax exemption for RC Car Wash LLC located at Hornell Extension, Hornell, New York.
So moved.
Motion by Rick, second by Ed. Any questions on the second motion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
All ayes, passed. Thank you. That concludes the resolution portion of the meeting. Anything in old business? New business, I do have one item. I mentioned this to Mike earlier in the week. I was contacted by the Viewpoint Project. Has anyone heard of the Viewpoint Project with Dennis Quaid? It's a nationally televised TV show, airs on public broadcasting, they have spots on CNN, Fox Business. Anyway, long story short, they cover a wide range of, from colleges to, businesses to municipalities. They cover things in different sectors, education, technology, right across the board. Anyway, City of Hornell got on their radar. And this is kind of on the heels of the interview that we just did and the coverage we had with Business View magazine, which is an online publication. I had a conversation with the producer of the show, and he told me that Hornell is on the radar and under consideration for coverage, which sounds great and everything, and we want to make sure we shout out our story. At the end of the conversation, he said, "Well, there's a cost to the host, the municipality or the college, whoever they're covering, and it's $25,000." And I said, "Let me, the idea is the economic arm of the city, and I'll bring it to the board and discuss it with them. I'm not going to make any promises." So I just wanted to kind of throw that in the board's lap just for consideration. My feeling on it is it's great to shout the story out and love doing it. 25,000 seems a little steep to be doing it.
How long is the segment? I mean, is it a 20
Well,
minute?
it'd be a program and then cut into 3 different segments on Hornell, and they would divvy it up into basically 3 categories. One would have to do with quality of life and culture. One would have to do with economic growth and activity, and I think the third leg of that stool is on the education side. And so I think it'd be one, the way you described it, at least one show with 3 segments. So.
But like a 60-minute show, 30-minute show?
Yeah, it's 60. It'd be a 60-minute show with traditional commercial breaks, I believe.
Right.
But you cut out that, and you're talking about 42 minutes roughly. I did get on their website, and it is a legit. I've heard of it. I don't watch it on a regular basis or anything, but I did watch a few episodes, or at least kind of go through parts of several episodes. And it's a really good program, and it's very well put together, very well produced. I think the question we have to ask ourselves, the investment versus the benefit. Obviously, we want Hornell to be in the forefront. We want to reach a wider audience when we're trying to attract more economic development here. But it's just a matter of are we willing to take that next step? Is the cost worth the potential benefit? I guess
Any statistics on the number of viewers that they get or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he'd be happy to provide that. We didn't get into, he touched on that a little bit. We didn't get too deep into the numbers. I'm sure if I asked, he could provide, how many households and how many, people typically tune in, how many views on the.
I mean, do we have access to previous shows we could even look at?
I've watched.
Yeah,
just so-
What was the name of it?
They're pretty good. but I
It's called the
would.
Viewpoint Project with Dennis Quaid.
Yeah.
Seems-
So my thought with that, I think it sounds great, especially when you think about these businesses that want to come into
Yeah.
Hornell. But at $25,000, you mentioned viewership, John.
Yeah.
It might be a better return on investment to invest $25,000 and have a professional company come in here and actually do a video that we create the full narrative, interview Alstom, interview the people we want them to interview, because you never know what these companies are going to do when they change and edit the film. And I can tell you from experience, my dad was on the American Restoration Show on the History Channel and had a 1921 X-ray unit remodeled or restored completely. It's in my office. And my whole family went out there minus me. I was in dental school and they were there for the whole filming. I mean, they changed the entire narrative. The show was not accurate. Things that my dad explained about where this came from Canisteo, that's where the dental office was. They changed it all for viewership and made it seem like the American Restoration Shop was doing all of this. And when they're in charge of the narrative, you almost worry if they interview the wrong person in Hornell, could they flip the script a little bit and say, maybe create a narrative that's not exactly what we want. And if we're investing $25,000, I mean, I have no clue,
Yeah,
but $25,000.
I don't think they're doing man on the street interviews.
Yeah.
He had mentioned, it'd be a specific list of stakeholders.
Yeah.
That would,
So my thought with that though, with that viewership, if they have advertisements, if we spent, and I don't know who we'd even reach out to for professional videos like this, but if we spent $25,000 to create a hype video for Hornell,
What would you end up with?
Well,
that might be
John,
a good
you
idea.
remember, we do have an older video that's in existence.
Peisch did that.
But Peisch shot that years ago.
Revised it 3 times.
But we used to send it out to different
Yeah.
businesses that were interested in the area.
And we used to have it on our website. Maybe it's still
Yeah,
floating
yeah, we
around.
did.
I'm sure it's still floating around on YouTube or something. But if you recall, about a year ago, we talked to Peisch. We talked about it in a meeting, actually. And so Peisch has been actively gathering footage. He's been gathering drone footage of different events, throughout the city. And so he's actively working on putting that together for the agency.
Yeah.
So, but he basically has to cycle through a year just to capture all the different seasons and events to put things together. So he is actually kind of,
Awesome.
in a piecemeal way,
Good.
working on something like that.
Looking into that, I mean, do you think that's a good thing that we should look into?
I kind of went back and forth, and I still am. I'm kind of going back and forth. Just 25,000. He waited to the end of the conversation because he wanted to kind of sell the idea and all that, and then at the end, but by the way, there's a fee for this to offset the production costs and the mobilization, travel, and all that. Okay, but I don't know. I think it's worth looking. I think it's worth considering. And
Do we have any control over the final product of this? I mean, so if for instance, if he came down and did the shooting, did the production or whatever, I mean, do we have any input? Hey, we want to see this before they air it, and then be able to. I mean, I after listening to what Rick was explaining, maybe if we had that little bit of control or protection that we know what's going to be on it and
Also afterwards,
content.
do we have the rights to it
Yeah.
to utilize for our own marketing?
25, we sat, Alston did a film. We went over in the boardroom over there. And the segment for Alston here was like 3 minutes or something. We didn't think they could get anything in it, remember?
Yeah.
We're gonna have it followed on. Well,
We just
Cohen told me that little snippet cost them like 150 grand for 3 minutes.
Mhm.
So there's gotta be more to this. There's gotta be more sponsors, or there's gotta be more people giving them money. So I don't.
Yeah,
The videos themselves, I mean, you log on to what you're not log on, you just get on their website and they're all the videos are right there. So, I mean, honestly,
Yeah,
any company or any municipality that they've covered, all you have to do is just link it to your website.
I mean,
You could do that, if you had the main place website, you could steal, or you could just copy and paste the links today and it would be right there. So they're not protected or anything.
well, just
I just
like.
don't- I don't think-
Situation right now, Bonitran, wouldn't it be nice to be able
election and things like that.
Well, that's what I mentioned to Paish after that whole thing. I said, we need to do some sort of video of the city, revise everything. He's like, I'm working on it with the mayor. So I was like, yeah, we need to promote if you're
Yes.
having a meeting with a big company.
And you told him
Says he's-
$3,000.
Yeah.
That'd be nice. I mean, right now.
I might be watching this now. My recommendation to the board would be to get on their website, watch a handful of their videos and watch them in different sectors.
Yeah.
Like I said, they cover different sectors and then, look at that and, kind of envision Cornell being, the focus of, a video or, a featured video like that. And, is that something that we would, that we could use? But
Did they say why
Sounds
they
good.
reached out? Like what brought them to here? Like, was it all stuff? Was it like, what was on the radar that?
he was a little vague on that. The way, I'm trying to remember back to the phone call conversation, but the way he described it is they have people out searching all the time. And he said Cornell is being considered. He didn't say it was a guarantee. He
Okay.
said we are being considered.
Nice.
So there's, they're obviously, throughout the country and looking for, looking for good, like decent stories. So when I talked to him, I sold the city,
Video.
right?
Oh, yeah, I forgot that.
Talked about DRI, talked about the addition of all the housing, the $30 million in grant monies that we've been awarded over the last several years, and the additions, from quality of life to economic development, and, mom and pops to Alstom, I covered it all. But, again, we're being considered. That doesn't mean, even if we said today, yes, let's go ahead and do it. That doesn't guarantee that they're going to cover it.
Yeah.
But we're in the running, which
No,
is a
it'd be
good place to be.
Yeah.
I think it's a feather in our cap, just, that
They reached out,
a
yeah.
production company like this is looking at us. Business View just did a, big write-up on us. Mike was a
Did
part
you
of
guys
that.
see that article? It was
No.
very good.
Mm-mm.
I have it somewhere. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
It's very good, but
Yeah.
I think that.
I can
ties
email
into things like
it,
this,
yeah.
because they're
I just brought up on there so you can see
They write this beautiful.
their thing about what they do.
House with zero.
It looks like professional.
Yeah, I mean, the video.
I watched one, because the one I watched, Dennis Quaid actually was the moderator. They're well done. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, for Quaid's part, he basically comes out and does the introduction.
Mhm.
And he does the intro to the show. He's not a part of the interview
Yeah.
process. Or, you don't see the folks interacting with him. He's on a narrow set. And,
Yeah, the narrative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is nice, he lends his name to it.
Yeah. No,
But there's a lot of episodes that I got bogged down for about an hour, kind of, going through and, watching 10 minutes of this one and 10 minutes of that.
It's on PBS. Did you say?
I think it's also on, the Fox, but it's not, it's that
Fox
Fox
Business.
the streaming thing they have.
Yeah.
It's on there.
He mentioned CNN and Fox Business specifically. There might have been some others.
could be good.
So. I could, like I said, look through some of the videos and, like my opinion, and I can reach back out to them and, ask them for some, more specifics.
Very good.
So, okay, that's all I had for new business. Anything from from the board? Okay, with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Ed, second by John. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All passed. We are adjourned. Thank you.